So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the new Superman movie headed by James Gunn, because I think this movie is so important,
And not just comic book movies in general.
but to me personally, I love superheroes. I love DC especially. Always been the biggest DC fan, especially when as a kid I was watching stuff like Young Justice and Justice League Unlimited and all the Batman series that were to Batman ever. In the movies, I just really loved DC. So I was incredibly disappointed when Zack Snyder made some of the worst superhero movies I've ever seen in BVS and Man of Steel, in my opinion. But I'm hopeful from seeing the trailers that we're gonna get a Superman that isn't always brooding and portrayed as a god, and instead is portrayed more like the average day man. And that's what I like about superheroes generally, is when they're treated like people. And hopefully James Gunn will be able to portray this on camera. I will say though, I'm incredibly worried about this movie. The movie needs to break $1 billion for it to be a success. Financially, but also critically. If it doesn't beat Man of Steel numbers, the Schneiderheads are going to be ragging on this movie for all of time. And if it doesn't beat Man of Steel numbers, then it also doesn't justify staying, to be honest, especially when Batman by Matt Reeves was able to surpass those numbers. The justification for it staying all rides on how much this movie makes and how successful it is. I'm not even talking about quality of the movie. I hope it's good. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be like a 7. I want it to be an 8, but that's high hopes. But it's scary how important this movie is for not just DC, not just Warner Bros., but for comic book movies in general. If this movie fails, then Fantastic Four fails. If this movie fails, then I think people are tired and are done with this era of just superhero films. And I think studios are going to need to switch up what they're doing, quite honestly. You see things like Doomsday, and you're like, oh, that movie filled with 50 characters that you're going to have to spend time with, that's going to work. It's like, no, it's not going to work. Will it break $1 billion? Probably. But it's going to be bad, and then the next movie is going to make less money and less people are going to watch it. And then, in my opinion, that's how superhero movies just die, because we are done with watching slop.
We want to watch things that entertain us, that are good, that are interesting.
But that's not all I wanted to talk about in terms of Superman. I also wanted to talk about some of the things that actually get me hyped for this movie, that I do think will help this movie out a lot. And I think the biggest thing is the actor play Superman, David Cornslet. I think he actually cares about this role as much as Henry Cavill cared about the role. And you see it in clips like him talking about the underwear in the Superman suit. Now, he doesn't need to even have any input on this suit, honestly, but obviously he cares enough about the character to say stuff like this. And honestly, I think it's a great choice to have the trunks, and I do really like the justification of it's a little cringe because it's supposed to be cringe. I kind of like that. Now, am I the biggest fan of the suit? Some parts of it are okay to me. But I just don't like the lines in the collar. That's just I just hate it. For me, Lois looks great. All the cast looks really good. I'm really interested in what Nicholas Hoult will do with Lex Luthor. I hope he plays a really great villain. And quite honestly, this movie, all it needs to do is give us a Superman that is heroic, that cares about people, likes America, beats the bad guy, and gets the girl. That's honestly all this movie needs to be. You hear stuff about some leaks about like monkeys doing AI bullshit from Lex's corp. It's like, oh god, like I hope we're not shoving this movie full of so much, which it does look like. There's just so much. It's Metamorph, it's Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific. It's like, oh god, there's a lot in this movie, and like, are all these characters gonna get stuff? I don't think so. I think it's gonna be a hodgepodge, like, or they're not gonna be in it a lot, which that's what I hope for. But even still, it's like I feel like we could have just went a little simpler and tied it back a little bit, and I am hyped for the trailer. It seems like a lot of people care and are hyped. I hope to god that the results are good, because I want a Batman, I want a Robin, I want a Nightwing, I want a Wonder Woman. I want a established, fun DC universe, and they have the template. They have DC animated movies. They have Justice League Unlimited. They have Young Justice, first 2 seasons at least. They have so much material to work with. I just hope they don't fall flat on their face like they once did. See you guys then.